Hello, we're 2 weeks away from Rise Week. I want to give you some instructions. This video I'm going to try to keep to about 20 minutes to 30 minutes, help you kind of prepare. On Monday you'll get another video, and on Wednesday you'll get another video next week, preparing you with an assignment I'd like you to do before you come. I want to wait and have you do it the week right before you attend. There will also be some things for your wife, so grab her. You can watch this on your own, but grab her. I'd like her to watch this too, for those of you that are in a relationship. Because part of the goal of Rise Week is to help you reconnect to yourself and do the healing work internally that allows you to heal relationships and have better relationships with your wife, future partner, kids, those types of things. So I want to tell you a little bit more about Rise Week. Why Rise Week? Why Legion? Why the Daily Rise? And some of you aren't even familiar with all those things yet. You called me for therapy, and I told you I don't do much therapy anymore. This is what I do now. A lot of you know my journey, my own addiction, my own striving to overcome my behaviors, my anger, my emotions, so many different struggles, triggers emotionally, spiritual struggles. You'll learn more about that journey as we keep going. But I saw 8 therapists in the course of my journey, became a therapist, and just kept seeking, how do I get where I want to go? I knew what I wanted. I didn't know how to get there. And each step of the way in my own journey, I started to realize these are more effective ways to help people than what I had. I hit this place as a therapist where I was the director of the second clinic I'd been at Addo Recovery. And I started to realize that there's something more. I was able to help people pretty effectively, but I also saw certain types of people that it was really challenging to help, and certain people that started to get better really quickly. And it didn't seem to matter the degree of negative behavior. What seemed to be more important was what they believed about their ability to change and grow. My journey, in many ways, has been frustrating. I've put in a lot of work. I remember one of my therapists telling me he's never seen anybody work as hard as me. Which was a great compliment. And I tried to do that because I wanted my marriage and family. About 2 years ago, I realized there's so much need and so little right information out there. So I stepped back as one of the directors at Addo Recovery, and decided to start building an app to get the right information out to the right people. But I also didn't want to market an app saying it was more effective than therapy or these other things, because I had done things that I thought had the full answer that didn't. So what I wanted to create was, from start to finish, here's what you will need to get where you want to go, covering all areas of life, not just behavior change or managing emotions. So I started researching almost 2 years ago. Actually, it was 2 years ago. And I stepped away as director and just did therapy and research and study. And about 10 months ago, I left my practice completely up in Orem and decided to go figure out the things I hadn't figured out yet. I flew to Boston, South Carolina, California. I opened a neurofeedback clinic to try to understand the benefits of that and to find, is there quicker ways and what's the gains of this. And I had 2 experiences, personal experiences at 2 different trainings that really changed the game for me personally and helped me realize as a therapist, this does not have to be so crazy hard. And the changes have been lasting. I feel totally different. Similar things will happen, and I don't trigger anymore. I don't react. There's nothing there. It doesn't mean the same thing. I'm aware that the same thing happens and that it used to trigger me, but now I don't feel anything. And that's what I want for others. Not to be wrestling forever with the same struggles, but really to not see them the same way and them not to mean the same thing. So what I realized people need is they need to feel a part of something. Our basic human need is acceptance when we come to the relational part of things. We need to feel acceptance and belonging. This is attachment needs. We also need to know that we can get comfort and care. Now, some of us have comfort and care, but we can't accept it because we don't believe we're lovable. Most negative beliefs we carry about ourselves fall into 3 categories. A feeling of I'm helpless, which is I'm not capable, I'm unlovable or unworthy of love, or something around body issues, body image. And when we shift to a deep sense of I am capable no matter what comes, and that might be connected to a higher power or connection, relationships, but a deep sense of I can handle this. I am capable to face what comes my way. And if I don't know how to do it, I'm smart enough to go figure it out. When people have that belief, they tend to be able to face life without fear and anxiety. When we help people have a deep sense of their self-worth and their ability to care for themselves in a healthy way, they believe they're worthy of love, then they can start to accept the love from others and benefit and accept that comfort and care. And then independent of body image, right, how big your muscles are, how strong your abs are, or whatever, when you have a sense that like this body of mine is amazing, it's a vehicle for me to accomplish, then you start to take life into your own hands. So I realized people needed to have these shifts. One of the core things I learned as a therapist, and it's hard to do in 50 minutes in session, is to help people have a corrective emotional experience. We've had negative emotional experiences that have shaped the way we view the world, the way we feel, and I don't want to go too deep into the science. I feel my job is to understand the science and take that and help you heal rather than give you the science so you have more knowledge. I'll tell you that a lot of the information I've had didn't help me heal. Some of it did, and I'm going to share that with you, but a lot of it was good information where I understood the problem and I even understood the solution, but knowing those things didn't create the solution. I had to go and do. So Rise Week is meant to be experiencing healing, experiencing yourself as a strong man, tapping into your mental toughness, connecting to your values and your source of spiritual strength, connecting to your purpose, learning how to get your power and then use it in your marriage, in your relationship with your kids, in your business, creating the life you want. I didn't want to just create Rise Week either. People have great experiences, they have this amazing thing at a weekend, and then 3 weeks later they forgot about it, right? What I want to do is help you keep experiencing change and growth. So Rise Week is meant to be a spot where you come and we begin to uninstall the negative patterns that run in the brain, the negative emotions, anger, sadness, hurt, fear, guilt, shame, limiting beliefs. We start to break through those and help your brain understand that those emotions don't help you get the life you want. I heard an interesting theory recently, and I think I believe it. The reason we feel those emotions in response to things is because we're running these beliefs under the surface that aren't helpful for us. And the body and brain create an emotion that's meant to tell us, hey, don't do things this way, it's not good for us. And then we get stuck on the emotion. I'll go into that more at Rise Week. But where we want to get is living the life that we want. So many people don't want the anger or the fighting in their relationships. They don't want the behaviors that they're doing, the feelings that they're having. And they do a lot of work. Most of you have done a lot of work. My goal is to help you get where you want to go. So Rise Week, we begin the uninstall process, where we start to break through all that stuff. Legion was built to help carry out the new process of building new patterns of thought, emotion, and behavior. Legion, I didn't want to build a brotherhood of recovering addicts. Not everybody coming is addicted. Most men struggle with a feeling of brokenness, even if those behaviors aren't addictive or those emotions aren't depressed. Some men just don't know how to do being a man, being a husband, being a father. You have heard me talk about this. Who taught us to be men? Who taught us what her needs would be, or how to understand them, or how to communicate or connect? Same thing with parenting. Rise Week is meant to be that training. And my greatest source of knowledge came from working with wives for thousands of hours, learning from them what they needed to feel loved, to feel cared for, to feel safe, to feel trust, to heal. And I had to do that work with my own wife. And I've seen us repair and rebuild a great friendship, for which I'm very grateful. So at Rise Week, you'll be doing things that help strengthen your marriage. I know some of you have hard feelings towards your wife. We're going to work through those and help you see that if you want something different, you can create it. So Legion is a brotherhood of men, and I want to introduce you to this idea. I wanted a new identity for people, not a group of recovering addicts, bound together by a symptom. I wanted a group of men who were connected by where they were going, what they were committed to do as men. Become elite husbands and elite fathers, meeting their kids' needs. So some men don't want to do that. Rise Week is not for them. The people that will come are men who want to become the men they're always meant to be and come through for their wives and kids. And I realized that we needed something more. We needed something daily. So I went back to the concept of the app, and I started to look. I don't want to just give information on a daily basis. I want to help people have a shift and really over time break through these patterns and reinforce new ways of belief. And that's what the Daily Rise is for. So you come to Rise Week, 4 days. Then you enter into Legion. I'll instruct you on this, but you're going to download 2 apps, Workplace and Workplace Chat. These are apps built by Facebook, but they're not Facebook. You will be sent an invite as an employee of Be the Rise. We will have an internal group, a brotherhood. This brotherhood started several months ago. I invited only 20 men that I know that have been through hard things and are fighting the good fight and are doing the things that need to be done in their relationships. Some have struggled with addiction, some haven't. Some have lost a father as a child, some have lost siblings. Some have had chronic illness with children. Some have lost children. Some have faced cancer either with a child or as a partner. Some have been abused as children. Some have been married to women with severe trauma and tried to figure out how to navigate that. You see, everybody I know faces challenges. It's our willingness to keep fighting and to learn to start to heal those things. And one of the premises is you can be a great source of helping your wife heal, as can she for you. And I'm going to teach you how to lead in that. A couple things, I have some notes down here. 2 goals of Rise Week. Growth as a man, mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, sexual. Who you are as a husband, who you are as a father, who you are as a provider. Not just of, financial needs, but do you provide love? Do you provide care? Do you provide an example? Those types of things. And then growing. So who you are as a man, who you are as a husband and father. The idea of Rise Week is the old you dies. The man that you were dies at Rise Week. The new you is born. The reality is we're always changing and growing. At least that's the goal. And so the man I am today will die when I go to bed. And tomorrow I'll wake as another new man. And I have a choice of what to do with that. At Rise Week, you will learn how to capture your strengths each day. The Daily Rise app will help you do that easily. Then it's up to you to build the life that you want. I hate to use this term because what we don't want is a business relationship in your marriage. But the idea here is you are 2 partners building something together. What are you building? You have this marriage, you have this family, and so often people don't even know what they're trying to build. What type of relationship do we want? What type of family do we want? What type of life do we want? I want to help you get in touch with that and create the steps, the path to get there. We will challenge and break through limiting beliefs. There's power inside you. One of my favorite things I've seen is men come fully alive, men who are in the darkest pits, darkest holes, and they start to see the light, see who they really are. So that's part of this. It's for you to come fully alive. When you're fully alive, living from your strength, that's what women need, that's what kids need. And that's what makes life worth living. There's an important principle. It took me a long time to learn, and I try to help guys get here, women get here. But really this desire to change out of love rather than fear. Human psychology tells us that people are motivated by two things: escape pain and get pleasure. We start in that escape pain or that fear of the consequences rather than I'm doing these things to get the reward. I invite you to shift into I'm doing this for love. All the time I hear from these women of, my husband just won't engage. He just won't meet my needs. He says he loves me, but he's not engaged with me. The men that are a part of Rise, we engage. We come through consistently. Now, this doesn't mean that partners are perfect and they don't have work to do. Some of you wives will still need to do work. But if we can help your husband engage and start to meet your needs and build trust and repair the damage that he might have done, I think that can help you begin to meet his needs. And next week I'm going to send a video that talks more about the couple healing, the thing that you do together, what you're building together. I'll go more into the steps and science of that. But it's important to know that a man can't build a marriage alone. I tried that actually for a long time. I was trying to make the marriage I wanted without my wife. And it didn't work. We had to do it together. I had to share. This is what I would like. What would you like? Okay. They're not the same in all areas. How do we navigate it? Part of Rise Week is getting in tune with what you really value. And are you living from those values? Realigning them so they support you in the life you want to build. There's 4 important requisites for change that Rise Week has built into them. The first one is to get rid of negative emotions, limiting beliefs. I just mentioned this, realign values. There's so much that's happened up to this point in your life that has created filters from which you see the world, like lenses. Oh, that looked weird. Okay, whatever. We need to clean the lenses. We need to give you new lenses, new ways of looking at things. And then we need to break the patterns that are implicit in the brain. I'll go more into that. Brain science, maybe. The important thing for you to know is I've studied it extensively, and Rise Week is built around the most advanced knowledge of how we help people shift on a cognitive and physical level to support you getting where you want to go. And then using our relationships to ourselves, to our partners, to our kids, to our higher power to build the life we want. Second requisite for change is to create a compelling future. We have to know where we are going. So many people, I mentioned this, don't have a vision for their life. And then they're just stuck where they are. We have to create the vision for where we're going, personally and as a couple. Then we have to take action. If we don't take action, we're just hoping for a future that we're not creating. Legion and the Daily Rise are meant to help you take action. So many people I work with come to therapy and they have this good session and they're motivated, and then they go back to real life and they don't take action. And the reason for that for a lot of them is they just feel crappy when they get back to real life. Their emotions overwhelm them. I'm going to teach you how to get rid of the negative emotions. And if you do it consistently, you're going to have a very powerful experience at Rise Week, but you're going to have to still do some work around that. But in time, I don't think you have to feel consistent anxiety or depression or anger or guilt or shame or any of that. So taking action to change the way things are currently and build the life that you want is important. And that is where Legion and the Daily Rise come into play. And also helping you focus on the future. Focus on what you want. So we have to create that compelling future, and then we have to focus on that. So many people focus on just getting out of the hole. I just don't want to be addicted anymore. I just don't want to be angry anymore. When you focus on getting out of the addiction, what you're lighting up in your brain is addiction, is anger, and it strengthens that pattern. We need to focus on where you're going. Okay? This is a simple process. I'll tell you that I'm excited about what happens at Rise Week. I've built in things that have super impressed me. I remember going to one of these trainings and I was a little skeptical and like, yeah, right, I've seen changes so hard for people. So I took something that had been really hard for me that I'd done a lot of work on and I understood well, but I still got triggered emotionally into anger, no matter what. And I went up on stage and the guy ran me through a process that was 17 minutes. I've not experienced a struggle with that thing again. Same thing happens all the time, but nothing happens for me internally and I handle it much better. Now, I'm not promising magic. I'm not promising that at Rise Week all is done and there's no more change. I think I've done a lot of work that prepared me to let that happen so quickly. But I also have learned that these things can change rather quickly when done right. If you come prepared for Rise Week, ready to have a change, meaning I'm ready to let these emotions and these beliefs go and build a new life, the process you'll experience at Rise Week and in Legion and the Daily Rise will help that shift. I want you to prepare yourself for a significant shift. I want you to look at the areas of your life, and that's part of the assignment next week, is to look really clearly at where things are in different areas, and I'll guide that. But then deciding, I'm ready to be done with this. You're going to have to look at, am I getting some sort of secondary gain by keeping this thing going? Is there some benefit from me feeling the way I feel or our relationship being the way it is? You're going to have to let that go and decide it's time for something different. So a few things to expect. Let's see, I already mentioned that. We're going to be working on anger, sadness, fear, hurt, guilt, shame, limiting beliefs. You will discover your strength. I don't care what you've done. I know what you've done. It doesn't matter. There's something more inside of you that you're going to discover. And you're going to know how to get where you want to go. The old you dies. The new you is born. Part of Legion is to set 30 and 90-day goals. Consistently focusing on who do I need to become to achieve those goals. The Rise is all about progression. Who am I becoming? To accomplish these goals, who do I need to be? Modeling behavior, modeling beliefs, and starting to think the way that person would think. You will be mentally and physically exhausted. The event ends Saturday night. I'm not sure what time yet. Might be late. I would plan on sleeping here in St. George at the place we're staying the whole time. So we have that through Sunday morning at 11. My recommendation is get a good night's sleep, go home a little bit rested so you can engage with your family and help your wife and kids that haven't had you there for 4 days. Now, wives, your husbands will come home exhausted, but they will come home different if they do the work. Next week, I'll send you a list of items you'll need to bring. It's not a lot. We provide a lot of things for you. I'm not going to let you know too much of what that is, but the idea in Rise Week is a balance of how life can be, should be. So there will be hard times. There will be things you don't like that challenge you and push you. There will be really fun things, adventure type things. There will be some relaxation. There will be some experiencing the good life. right? Like letting yourself have good things and not feeling guilt or shame for it. Now, women, and this is not some weekend getaway party with the guys just having a good time. My goal here is to help in the most effective way I know how to help people have a shift. So next Wednesday, you'll get an assignment. Wives, please text me the best email and phone number for you. There's something I need from you before your husbands come, and I'll send that to you next week as well. And next Wednesday, you'll also get a video on relationship healing, what to expect, how that's going to take place. Okay. So what I'd like you to do this week, starting today, is I just want you to start to think about the life you want. Who do you want to be as a man? How do you want to feel? What do you want to do? A lot of you, like me, have spent a lot of time learning. I told someone this earlier today. I remember a time in my journey where I saw a therapist and he said, Austin, you know all the answers. That you've read the books, you've listened to the podcasts, you've gone to the seminars. He's like, you know the answers. You need to do the things that help you. He told me to stop reading for a while and just to journal. I remember, I can't remember how long ago, but I remember feeling frustrated where literally I had probably 5 years worth of journals where each entry was like, I want to be this type of man. I want this in my marriage. I want this type of life. And what I didn't understand at the time was by me consistently focusing on where I wanted to go, it helped me get there. I was discouraged because I kept writing, I want to get here, I want to get here. But it helped me keep looking for the answers because I knew what I wanted. So that's it. I want you to start thinking, what are the changes I want to make as a man, as a husband, as a father? What's the life I want to build? And am I willing to do the work? If you're not, like if you don't want to build something with your wife where she's happy and you're happy, honestly, just tell her. Just say, I'm not going to do the work. I'm not going to become a better man. I'm not going to become a better father. This is as good as it gets for you. And let her go. Let her go. What kept my wife in when it was really rough was she knew I was willing to work. Even when I didn't get it right, she knew I was working and looking and searching. Rise Week is what I wish I had. I've done my best to try to build something that's more effective than several years of therapy. I know as a therapist, I'm able to do at Rise Week what I can't do in 50 minutes a week, no matter how long I see you. I built Rise Week because when I was seeing clients, I realized there's a better way and I just can't do it this way. People need this really intense emotional healing experience. They need a brotherhood where they can start to get a new identity of who they are. And they need something daily that helps them shift their emotions and break these patterns. I want you to start thinking of yourself as the rise. Some of you have seen me draw this out, and I won't draw it out here, but I talk about this line that represents baseline marriage, baseline life. Don't do these negative things. They create damage. Don't cheat on me. Don't look at pornography. Don't yell at me. Don't be angry at me. Don't swear at me. Don't do these negative things, right? And many of us have found ourselves in this spot. Just getting up to here does not equal a happy relationship. Others have felt damaged by the things they've failed to do rather than the things they've done that are negative. So up here, this is where life works. We're doing the things that successful people do in marriage and business, the way they think, all of that type of thing. When we fail to do the good, we just find ourselves here. We're roommates in our relationship. Life's kind of mundane and mediocre. And it becomes much easier to slip down here, to find a little bit of numbing, right? I call this place up here the rise. I want you to start to believe that you are the rise. You're not the fall. This isn't you. These are things you've done. This is not who you are. This is who you are. You are the Rise. You are the man that gets up. No matter what's happening, you say, I'm done with this. This ends with me. I will tell you, I told someone this also recently. I don't know how far back addiction goes in my family line, but I know my dad was addicted. I know my grandpa was addicted. I know his dad was addicted. Different addictions, they switch. I determined it ends with me. I won't pass this on to my kids. Now they have my DNA, but what they have that I didn't have was a father that fought back, that learned to be engaged, that knows how to come through consistently, knows how to meet their needs, knows how to set an example of caring for a wife. I can teach my sons how to be men, how to be husbands and fathers, and I can teach my daughter what she deserves as a woman: respect, love, a man who will put her before himself. All of you can learn that and start doing that. I'm not a perfect man, I'm not a perfect husband or a father, but I am engaged and I am focused, and I continue to strive to grow. I can tell you I've been in the deepest, darkest, lowest, hellish spot, and life isn't that anymore. It's good most of the time. Sometimes it dips, but me and my wife know how to get out of it together. It's typically not anything to do with us, it's life. Life happens and hard things happen and we face it together. I'm excited for you to come. If you have questions, text me, email me, 801-842-1784, austin@betherise.com. Also, you will likely get a text from me from the Rise platform, the app. Save that. There's it's called a V card. If you save that, it'll save the contact and then you'll know it's from us, and the videos will play right in your text inbox. Look for a video on Monday and again next Wednesday. And actually, I forgot about this. Can you text me your shirt size? That would be very helpful. If there's anything else, I'll include it in the video on Monday. I hope you're well. I look forward to seeing you.